going to talk to us about Who Am I? Chug.
Mr. Toastmaster, members and guests, who am I? The simple answer is Chug, which you probably want to know a little bit more about. I was born in Bath, Maine, grew up in Bristol, Rhode Island. I'm the youngest of four. And growing up, a lot of our time, especially in the summer, was spent around sailboats. If I wanted to spend time with my father, it had to do with a boat. With four of us, and then my two parents, total of six, we'd go out on a boat for overnight, sometimes up to 5, 6 nights. And we're a very close family because of that. You just can't have issues with each other when you're on a sailboat. They're not that big. And if you do have an issue, about the best you can do is go to the bow of the boat, and you're still pretty close to everybody. Possibly in the evening, you can get in the dinghy after you've dropped anchor, but that's a little bit more difficult. And still, you never really get away from anyone. After high school, I came out here to Colorado College, met my beautiful wife, and got a degree in economics. After that, I went to St. Louis, Washington University, and got another bachelor's degree in electrical engineering. I like to think of myself as a liberal arts engineer, which doesn't always make that much sense to people, especially my engineering friends. After that, what did I do for jobs? Where did we live? We were here in Colorado Springs, then we went to Lafayette, Indiana, and then back here to Colorado Springs. The first half of my career was a supplier quality engineer or process engineer in manufacturing environments. Second half of my career, I worked as a marketing or apps engineer for Japanese semiconductor industry in the sales and marketing department. 3 other years, I worked for Japanese Automotive, Isuzu in Lafayette, Indiana, as a supplier quality engineer. And that was like being a kid in a candy store, because not all Japanese companies are fantastic, but the good ones are amazing at their quality. And I've been all over this country in many different industries and manufacturing environments, and Americans, our quality's okay, but really it's not that great. But the Japanese were incredible. 2013 was a major change for me, not necessarily all my decision, but in that, what happened, I decided to try and work for myself, become an entrepreneur. And I have enjoyed the process. It's been wonderful. Done a lot of self-growth and reading and seminars. The big issue is figuring out how you do what you love and still make money. And I'm still working on that. My hobbies. I love mountain biking, road biking, skiing, hiking, tennis, really anything you do outdoors without a motor. Now, where I changed and add the motor is my wife and I and our dog love to go out in our RV into the mountains where we can do those things. Some of the lessons I've learned. As a quality engineer, I love the tools. I love learning about the tools you use, and now I'm trying to develop some of those to help me make some money. But I also realized that the tools aren't nearly as important as the why or the philosophy behind the tool. A lot of times companies, a tool will break down, but they still have to ship product. So they do whatever it takes to ship the product. But they don't know why they had the tool, so many times you get a problem. The product they're shipping is not that good. The other lesson I learned was never waste water. Now this came, I learned this while I was on the boat. When you're out on a sailboat, you just don't have that much fresh water. A couple hundred gallons maybe, if you're lucky 500 or 600 gallons. But it goes pretty quick, especially with 6 people. So you learn to conserve it. And I was amazed as a high schooler watching the TV. They show the guy brushing his teeth, and then they'd scan out and they'd show the sink and the water was running, and they say, turn off the water as you're brushing your teeth. You don't need to be using that water. And I thought, why would anyone ever keep the water on while they were brushing their teeth? And still to this day, when I'm doing whatever it is, and the water's running, and it's just going down the drain, it's not being used, I have a really hard time. I just always want to, if I'm washing dishes, I turn on the water, rinse it, turn it off, and put it in the rack. I just can't stand it when water's going down the drain. And that is my environmental message for the day. Don't waste water. Mr. Toastmaster.